Cryptography relies on three underlying principles, being confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which combined together, these three principles create the CIA triad, being the gospel goal of cyber security. Now, let's get a little more technical into each of these three principles, starting with confidentiality. Confidentiality ensures that data remains private in three different situations. The first being data at rest or stored data, which resides in a permanent location awaiting access. For example, data stored on hard drives, backup tapes, cloud storage services, USB devices, and other media types. The next situation is data in transit or data in motion, aka transmitted across the wire, such as on a corporate network, a wireless network, or the internet. And the last situation is data in use, aka data stored in active memory of a computer system where it may be accessed by a process running on that system. An important keynote, data in memory, aka use, is the most difficult to encrypt as it needs to be used decrypted. So, given confidentiality is perhaps the most widely cited goal of crypto systems, how can we enforce confidentiality? Well, the answer lies in two main types of crypto systems. The first being symmetric or shared key crypto system, and the second being asymmetric or public key crypto system, which you may know as public and private keys. In a separate video, we shall discuss the technical elements of these two crypto systems, but for this video, we shall keep it very high level. Now, back to the second principle of the CIA triad being integrity, which ensures that data is not altered without authorization. Meaning, if integrity mechanisms are in place, the recipient of a message can be certain the message is received in an identical format to the way the message was sent. Additionally, integrity checks can ensure that the stored data was not altered between the time it was created and the time it was accessed. Ultimately, message integrity is enforced through the use of encrypted message digests, known as digital signatures, created upon transmission of a message. This integrity is also known as non-repudiation, meaning the recipient can be confident that the message originated from the intended sender, and the recipient can also perform various technical checks on the digital signature that was used on the sent message. Again, similar to the confidentiality principle, integrity can use the same crypto systems. And the third CIA triad principle is availability, which very simply put, without the first two principles, confidentiality and integrity, cannot be enforced. After all, what good is confidentiality and integrity if the data is not available? Now, to further cement our knowledge, let's look at some examples of the CIA triad and its application in the real world, starting with confidentiality. So, we have learnt that there are two crypto systems that enforce confidentiality, but what exactly are some of the algorithms that are used within each? Let's start with secret key, aka symmetric crypto systems. Common examples include the Data Encryption Standard DES and Triple DES, aka 3DES, the Advanced Encryption Standard AES, the Ron Rivest Cipher Suite RC4, 5, and 6, the Bruce Schneier algorithms of Blowfish and Twofish, the International Data Encryption Algorithm IDEA, and lastly, one-time pads, which are the most secure method. Moving on to asymmetric crypto systems. These include RSA, named after its founders Rivest, Shamir, and Alderman. The next is Diffie-Hellman or Diffie-Hellman Exchange. And finally, elliptic curve cryptography, ECC. Now, a bonus exam tip. Confidentiality can also be applied through access controls. For more technical detail, please be sure to check my playlists around identity and access management. However, at very high level, these include many different categories from mandatory to discretionary, rule-based, role-based, etc., etc. It also includes physical access such as smart cards and tokens. Now, let's look at some examples of enforcing integrity in the real world. If you recall, integrity is forced through the use of digital signatures or message digests which provide non-repudiation. You may have heard of some of these common examples, such as the secure hashing algorithm, SHA, the message digest algorithm, MD. However, you may be less familiar with some of these other methods, which are listed here above. These will be discussed in future videos in more technical detail, but for the purposes of the exam, it is important to at least remember all of these. And as for availability, well, this can be enforced not necessarily through cryptographic methods, but rather techniques around fault tolerance and redundancy, of which there are many listed here. Disaster recovery planning is one important aspect of maintaining availability. You can find a detailed video about disaster recovery linked here on my channel. And finally, for anyone still watching this video, here is a super fantastic bonus exam tip. What is the difference between cryptography and encryption? Well, here is the answer. Cryptography is more of a science, aka the nuts and bolts of how secret communication works. Another way to remember this is by breaking down the word into its core components, crypto and graphy. As for encryption, think of this as the application of cryptography, which is done through the use of ciphers. So that concludes this very high-level basic intro into cryptography and some of its basic principles. Of course, we have only touched the surface of what is a complicated mathematical domain. For this reason, you can find many separate videos covering many aspects of cryptography on my channel, of which I have linked at the end of this video with an appropriate playlist that may be of interest. Plus, be sure to like and subscribe to ensure you do not miss any new content like this that I post regularly on this channel where I explain cybersecurity like I am a 2-year-old.